steps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff. But
George Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
we can't ask Rashad a question.
Hey, Rashad.
Jeez Louise, see the pictures? Goodness gracious, he really blew up the car, bro. Dun, 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 dun. Young Thug. This fake? It's fake. That's got to be fake, right? Thug really tweeted that? I know he deleted it because of he definitely deleted it. Young Thug. Oh, he was really tweeting. He really. Oh no, bro, what? He really did that, bro. All right, cool. Let me see. Here we go. May I, Mr. Steele, the court, yes. Your Honor, I'm going to move for a mistrial. The government knows the answer is about to be about. Mr. Combs has had other people under live. This is an outrageous question. He didn't say that, the court said, but he will say that. But he hasn't. Well, he's about to say it. I'm putting the court on notice. No, you don't get to put me on notice. There's no grounds for any kind of application along those lines. No question that you're talking about has been asked and the answer has been given. People acting like Kid Cudi not a civilian. Go listen to Buddy music. He not Thug Life. He don't need witness protection from Diddy either. People who not even committed a crime in their lives calling Kid freaking Cudi a rat. It got me so weak, dude. Why did Thug say that? If Kid Cudi keeps it hip hop tomorrow, Kid Cudi is barely hip hop. Looking for code and the wrong people would be a reason why code barely exists. Kid Cudi is a civilian that was subpoenaed by the federal court. Please explain what else he was supposed to do. You're gonna answer like a I need to get this thing, bro. I need to get her name. Her name is like Jen, right? Jen. Hold on. Let me pull up this lady that has like held us down throughout this entire time. Post this. Give me a second here. Let's see if I can find this. Let me see. Diddy. All right. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna find this. Lauren. I said Jenna. Her name is Lauren. This is Lauren. We're on Lauren's page again.
Lunchtime update. It's basically winter. We are Diddy day 9, and I'm going to skip through George Kaplan, Diddy's former assistant's testimony right now just to get through Kid Cudi. I'm going to give you all those details during my later recap at the end of the day. But let's start with Kid Cudi, aka Scott Mescudi. So he walked into the courtroom, seemed very relaxed, wearing a leather jacket, had an earring on, and I thought maybe Diddy was gonna kind of like look at him all the way as he got up to the witness stand. He didn't. He kind of just sat back in his chair. So Kid Cudi testified that he met Cassie, they dated, they worked on music together, and he said that he thought that Cassie and Diddy were on again, off again. But at the time that he was seeing Cassie, which we found out was pretty much about a year. Oh, and also he got up there and said that he loved her. He was in love with her. That's sweet. But he said that he was under the impression that she was totally off again with Combs for that entire year. So, and we all know that Diddy found out about Cassie and Kid Cudi from her testimony when Diddy found an email on her phone to Capricorn Clark or one of Kid Cudi's assistants, something about her toiletry bag at his house. So we hear about this. We hear about this night. And oh, by the way, not to jump around again, but when the prosecution had their opening statements, they mentioned a break-in involving Diddy's assistant that was kidnapped out of her bed at night and was forced to go break into someone's home to look for Cassie. And it turns out it was Kid Cudi's home, but we'll get there. So he goes back to that evening, December 2011. He says that, hopefully you guys can hear me, it's so windy. He says Cassie called him very upset and stressed, saying, Sean Combs found out, and she's panicking, and she says, come and get me. So he goes to get her, and he takes her to a hotel. He takes her to the Sunset Marquee. He thought that would be better. She'd be off the radar. But then he later says that for whatever reason, Cassie gave Diddy his home address, Kid Cudi's home address. And maybe she felt like she was forced to. Maybe he was threatening her. That's just a guess. I don't have proof of that. I'm just wondering why she would do that. So they're at the hotel, and then they get a call from Capricorn Clark. And Capricorn, although she works for Diddy, she's good friends with Cassie. So Kid Cudi describes that Capricorn is on speakerphone, and she's calling them from the car in the driveway of Kid Cudi's house. And she says, like Diddy's in there with an associate. They woke me up out of bed. They forced me here. They're in your house. So Kid Cudi is pretty mad. And he's like, what the hell? So he gets in the car. He drives over to his house. And he said he calls Diddy. And he goes, motherfucker, why are you in my house? And he just said, I just want to talk to you. That's what Diddy said. Oh. And then Kid Cudi says, I'm on my way over. I wrote all this down. And then Sean Combs says, I'm over here waiting for you. So he arrives at the house. He also says that his security cameras, they normally point a certain way. They were pointing down for whatever reason.
Bro, what the heck?
And but he goes inside. He said nobody was there. All that he noticed was that there were Christmas presents for his family on the kitchen table. They were Chanel, that's all he remembers, and they were opened. And that his dog was locked in the bathroom or like behind the bathroom door. So he also said that his dog kind of had PTSD from that incident. Oops, sorry, of being locked in there. Okay, so sorry, next page. Oh my God, it's so cold. All right, so... Okay, so he calls Diddy after that, and he says, where are you? And then I guess Sean Combs says, yeah, I'm on my way. And I don't know, he said that things went through his mind, like, should I stay here? Should I do something? Whatever. Or should I meet him? And he said after going through all of this, he's like, no, I'm not going to do this myself. I don't know if he has weapons. I don't know anything. So he said that he called the police. And the police went to his home, and they made a report about the break-in, and that was that for now. So he went back to Cassie. She was stressed. That was her demeanor. But he went to Connecticut for the holidays. And when he was in Connecticut, Kid Cudi describes that, I'm like, am I snotting? Sorry, I feel like, oh my gosh, I've probably been snotting this whole time. Really sorry. It's really cold. So Kid Cudi describes that Combs is texting him while he's in Connecticut. Like, what did he say? I just want to get to the bottom of it. I was in the dark about all this stuff. This is what he's texting Kid Cudi. And he's just like, I want nothing to do with this. So he doesn't respond to him. And then Cassie ends up breaking up with him before New Year's. And, he goes back to LA. And then we found out that Cassie goes to Arizona to visit Diddy. And so now we're January of 2012. And he said he's 45 minutes away from his house. This is Kid Cudi. He said he's at his ex-girlfriend's sister's house, and his dog sitter calls him and says that his car is on fire. And it's about 6:30 a.m. And she takes pictures of the car, and he has a Porsche. And it turns out that a Molotov cocktail was thrown through the top of the car. So he drives over there. I mean, we see pictures. The whole roof is destroyed. They open the door up. It's all charred on the inside. And he explains what a Molotov cocktail is. You know, it's an explosive, a bottle with an inflammatory liquid. It's lit on fire. And yeah, and then I wrote down that he yawned on the stand. Let me see. Oh, yeah. And then his friend Chip sent photos of the car. I guess his friend Chip was nearby. And so, yeah, he calls the cops, and he makes a report. Oh, okay. So then, the prosecutor says, "What was your reaction to your car being set on fire?" And he goes, "What the fuck?" It was actually kind of funny. Okay, so he says a few days later, that's that. He reaches out to Diddy, and he says, "Let's meet. We need to talk." So he says that D-Rock, and which is, you know, one of his bodyguards, D-Rock brings him to a floor, maybe the 7th floor at the LA Soho House. Cassie is not there yet. He said that he walked in, and this is actually a really funny moment in the courtroom. He said that Diddy was facing these like windows, these glass windows, and he turned around with his
Like a
hand
mob
like behind
boss.
his back, and he goes,
Did he really watch some mob story? Allegedly, if all this stuff is real, Diddy was watching mob boss stories, bro. He was watching mob boss stories, and the little what was the little thing with the Pootie Tang. That's what he was watching on repeat, bro. And he really tried to emulate that in his real life. That's crazy.
he looked like a Marvel supervillain. Everybody's like, what? And then he said that Diddy's demeanor was so calm, it was almost bizarre. He said that he was offering him water twice. He made sure to say that, and he just said it was really weird that he was so calm and bizarre. And basically,
Today said something real quick. She said, "I'm just here to say put some respect on Ryan Howard's name." Ryan played well today. She was locked in, especially after she got mad. Because before she got mad, before she pushed Caitlin Clark, she was struggling with her shot. Or I wouldn't even say struggling with her shot. I think she was taking kind of ill-advised shots in terms of like within the flow of the offense. This is the exact same thing that Carl Semesco said. He said when we not moving the ball, when it's sticking and everything, and the kind of one player is ball dominant, then we aren't the team that isn't what it is. I think after the Caitlyn shove, everything like that, I think folks was locked in. And when she locked in, it's not too many people who's better than her on both sides of the ball. She's the best player. She's gonna be ball dominant. Yeah, but she was taking bad shots, is what I'm trying to say. Like she was forcing bad shots up. And you don't need to force up bad shots when you have Leash and BG and Bree Jones and Pow on the floor as well. Like you don't need to force up bad shots. That's the point. All right.
you know, they said they worked it out where, you know, Kid Cudi said, "I didn't know you guys were still dating. I'm sorry. It's over, blah, blah, blah." Worked it out. They shake hands, and Kid Cudi says, "Wow, you know, their hands were still clasped." He said, "Well, what about my car?" And Diddy just said, let me see what he said exactly. Sorry. Diddy said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And this is per Kid Cudi. And Kid Cudi said that he kind of let his hand go and just walked away. And he's like, Diddy's like, "Wait, I thought you said we were cool." And he said, "Yeah, you don't know anything about my car." Okay. And that was that. He said he didn't see him like pretty much ever until a few years later at Soho House again in LA when Diddy was with his daughters and Kid Cudi was there for something. He just went up to him and he apologized for everything. So I thought that was interesting. And I'm really sorry if I'm like snotting. Gosh. Okay. So really quick, a minute left. So Brian Steele did the cross of Kid Cudi, and it was actually funny. At one point, they had a sidebar. I don't remember what it was exactly, but Kid Cudi goes, "Mr. Steele, I want to say something," and the judge was like, "Nope, you can't." It was kind of a funny moment. And Brian Steele, he kind of got Kid Cudi to smile a little bit. He complimented him, said, you know, how talented he was, and then the things that he pointed out, the important things the defense pointed out here. Okay. The fact is, he asked him about the police report with the car. And he said, well, did they ever follow up with you, the LAPD or whichever agency it was, about the car? Because, you know, they got fingerprints, they got DNA. And he said, he basically was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Steele said, yeah. So the DNA was from a woman that they found. And Kid Cudi said he didn't know that. And I'm not adding in any commentary here. So just, you know, make your own conclusions in your mind, if whatever you think is going on. Then he also added that during the break-in, he said his door was open, wide open, and there was no forced entry. He also got Kid Cudi to admit on the stand that he felt like Cassie, quote, played him. He said that twice that I wrote down.
Sick work.
Let me see.
Sick
He
work.
also, I mean, he testified that Cassie told him about the physical violence, but he didn't see it himself, but Cassie just told him. He didn't know anything about sexual violence. I'll have more later.
All right, cool. Once again, shouts out to Lauren Conlon, and things of that sort, holding it down with this coverage every single day. That was day 9 of the Diddy trial. You know, Kid Cudi spoke, and that is that. If you're new to the channel, as always, this is the road to 5K subs. My name is Rashad Milligan. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, a good night. And if nobody else told you today, I care about you. See you tomorrow. Peace.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but.
Rashad Milligan rolling out.
Good question.
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.